Now, what are the elements of an abstract? I think by now you probably get a sense of it already, at least keeping in mind what we said at the beginning. You want to highlight the objective of your work. And that means what is the aim of your work? So within the first two paragraphs, first two lines, or first two, three lines, the person reading your abstract should have a hint for what this writer is about to do or what this writer did or what's the objective of of your abstract basically of your work basically. Okay, so what questions are you able to answer or did you want to answer? What problem does the study address? Okay, so that's typically one element. So every reviewer looking at an abstract wants to see something that quickly points them to a purpose or objective, at least at the beginning. Okay, and then they also want to see, okay, what is the methods? What methods did you employ in this study, in this research, in this evaluation? What tools, what softwares, what technique, what approaches did you take to conduct this research? Okay. And some may even want to see additional information. Okay, what were the QC steps? What's the fidelity of your data, your fidelity of your tool? What are the behind back end workflow that you employed to do this? Again, depending on your work, for example, if you're doing some programming effort or you're doing some, depending on what you're doing, basically, that will determine what you're bringing up as methodology. Okay. And then if there's any uniqueness to the flow, if it's new, you also want to mention that this is new. This is a novel way of doing things if it's not the traditional way. Okay, so the reviewers also want to see that there's something you're doing differently. And any reviewer looking at an abstract that sees a methodology that is new or different will quickly highlight yours as something to watch out for. Because at the end of the day, we want new things, new knowledge, new approaches. Okay. And then beyond methodologies, of course, what was the most important findings? You need to summarize your key outcome and find a way to present the data and results in a way that is systematic and logical, such that the person reading doesn't get confused. If you're talking about a certain pair of parameters and how they are related, stick to it. And when you're done with that, you switch to the next one, such that you don't muddle up all the results and confuse the reviewer or the reader. Again, remember that in all of this, you want to ensure that the person is interested in the work. So you have to bring out your findings in a way that is sort of straight to the point and also addresses the topical questions which you may have defined in your objective or in your beginning introductory parts. Okay. And then you also want to ensure that at the end of the day, you have a conclusion, right? What's the implication of your findings? What is the meaning of the results in a broader field? How can I apply or use your results to solve problems? In fact, reviewers also want to see, is there an application of these results in some other place? If you're able to show me a relationship between pressure, subsurface pressure, or reservoir pressure, right, and the rate of production or the rate of drainage, okay, or the number of wells in a reservoir, how does that message help me in a different oil and gas field? If you're checking the relationship between, if you're telling me that, oh, I see that there is a relationship between gas entry pressure and one other parameter, okay, hydraulic, call it hydraulic limit of a well or something. The question is, how does that message help me in a field or in a nearby field that is similar to this one? You need to be able to bring out that component. So conclusion and recommendation are very important. And then, if possible, application are very important because it will make your abstract stand out as something that people will benefit from. Hence, it will be ranked properly and ranked better.